Okay.
If you follow that, the way that is, like
Nah.
change, okay? She's wasting my time.
Subhanallah. Me too. جزاك الله خير. معلش. See that?
Sam.
طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فهذا سامر. أما بعد فإنك فضل.
That's sort of stuff.
تفضل سامر. قال وهكذا like we read in the مخطوط. Like we what? Like we read in the مخطوط. طيب خير إن شاء الله. Alright, so now let's go بإذن الله تعالى directly to the فهرس to do what we said we were going to do yesterday or last night. طيب, let's go up inshallah. Alright, let's get started with the reading and the perusing through the chapters. Baban. Yep. 1 second, this computer. All right. 538. 160. طيب. Everybody ready? فهرس إجمالي للموضوعات. All right, we don't want that. Then there's the فهرس الألفاظ والرواة. الأحاديث الأطراف الآثار. Let's move up to فهرس the general فهارس. لا, not the تفصيل. طيب, the إجمالي, right? That's what we want, not the تفصيل. طيب, all right. What page, Samir? Does it start on? Yeah. لا, إجمالي. It's 14. Yalla, Sheikh. You're supposed to be on point. طيب, all right. لا بأس. There we go. All right. طيب. Here we go, guys. 1431. All right. So we're going to read through this and breeze through this as fast as we can, inshallah ta'ala, without taking too much time. Number one, Khutbatul Mu'allif, the author's introduction, Ba'ith al-Mu'allif ala ta'lifi kitabihi, why he wrote the book. And then he starts off, Al-Kalamu hawla hadith, talab al-ilmi faridatun ala kulli muslimin. Okay. Obviously, it's missing here that the first thing that the author mentioned was what? Before this hadith was what? He mentioned a concept which is deeper than this. And that was, Man su'ila an ilmin fakatamahu. Alright? That was the first hadith that he mentioned. Why he answered the request of the seeker. وَرَغِبْتَ, speaking to the seeker, the talib, طيب. Why he answered the speaker or the requester regarding the obligation of spreading knowledge. طيب. That's the باعث المؤلف على تأليف كتابه. المفروض أن يذكر هذا. المفروض أن المحقق إيش؟ يذكر هذا. تماما. Then it says, number 2, the hadith, seeking knowledge is mandatory upon each and every Muslim. What does that mean? What does that mean? That's the first thing that he spoke on after that. What does it mean that seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every single Muslim? What does that mean? Everybody has to be a scholar and a student of knowledge? Everyone has to learn Arabic, go overseas? What does that mean? Then it says, تَفْرِيعُ أَبْوَابِ فَضْلِ الْعِلْمِ وَأَهْلِهِ. Then he makes the tafri'. All of the different things which prove the superiority and the excellence of seeking ilm. All of the different aspects and angles and perspectives that show us the excellence, the virtue, and the beauty of what? Talabul ilm. You understand this? From that is what the Prophet ﷺ said, when a person dies, he who shows someone good, you cannot envy someone unless you'll find that people like ma'adin, minerals, gold and silver, man yuridillahu bihi khayrun yufaqihu fid din, the virtue of knowledge over ibadah. The learner and the teacher are both partners in reward. The scholars over the martyrs. وَهَكَذَا تَفْرِيعٌ. Everyone understand this? All of the different hadith regarding the virtue of seeking ilm. Regarding the virtue of seeking ilm. طيب? So these are all abwab. Then he moves forward by saying, Babu dhikri karahiyati kitabat al-ilmi wa takhlidihi fi suhuf. That is disliked to write down knowledge. It's not the best thing to write things down. Wa takhlidihi fi suhuf. And allowing knowledge to die on paper. Allowing knowledge to die on paper. In other words, knowledge is supposed to be alive. It's supposed to be vividly full of life. And that can only take place via, understood or not, hifd. Everyone understand this? Wait, let me get the book. Let me open up the book. Let me read the book, right? If there's a khatib who's reading something on the minbar, which could be beneficial, but the whole entire khutbah is from a paper, it's not the same as the khatib who does the whole khutbah from his heart. And he's looking at you and making contact with you. And he's moving right to left, left to right. Are they the same or not? They aren't the same. They're what? They're not the same. As someone who's reciting poetry and he reads from a paper is not the same as a person who's from the top of his head. It's a difference. So he said this is something which was disliked. Next chapter, Babu dhikr rukhsati fi kitabat al-ilmi. The permissibility of doing so. That it's not haram. It isn't haram to write down knowledge. And sometimes it isn't disliked. Sometimes it's mandatory. Sometimes it's recommended, depending on the situation, depending on the circumstance. But many of the righteous ulama of the past, they disliked the writing down of knowledge. Babu fi mu'aradatil kitab, comparing your notes, comparing what you got down. Babu al-amri bi islah al-lahni wal-khata'i fil hadith, wa tatabu'i alfadhihi wa ma'anihi. Making sure that you don't make mistakes when reciting or reading a hadith. Make sure that you do not make a mistake when you're reading or reciting a hadith, and making sure that you're saying it properly and all of its meanings and correct understandings. Next chapter, Babu Fadl Ta'allumi fi Sighari wal Haddi alayhi, is the virtue of seeking knowledge at a young age, taking advantage of your youth and not waiting until you get older, taking advantage of your young years to seek ilm. باب حمد السؤال والإلحاء في طلب العلم وذم ما منع منه. He says the virtue and the praise of asking a question. It's a good thing to ask a what? A question. And a person should be diligent and hungry to seek ilm. Ilha, you should always be at it, chipping away at it, over and over and over again, trying to get all of the knowledge that you possibly can, right? He says, and anything which stops you or prevents you from doing so. Listen carefully, brothers. Anything that stops you or prevents you from doing so. A person wants to get knowledge, and a person wants to seek ilm, and a person wants to get married. That's the classic question. Allahu Alam, how many times I've been asked this question. I want to get married, I want to go overseas. I want to go overseas, I want to get married. Which comes first? If you can be patient, and if you can control yourself, and it's not a major distraction, and you really, really want to seek ilm, perhaps it's best to go overseas first, and then come back and get married. Or perhaps go overseas for a year, come back, work, save up, get a mixture. Everyone understand this? If you're really hungry and you're really serious about seeking ilm, nothing is supposed to come before you in seeking knowledge. That's a brother or sister. A job, career, college, basketball, having fun, your parents, whatever that thing is which prevents you from fulfilling your appetite for seeking ilm. And obviously we're speaking to a select few people here. We're not talking to every single person. All right, we're speaking to the true seekers of ilm, which this course is originally for. This course is originally for what? The serious seekers, and not just the lectures or the talks that are for everyone. The family night is one thing, and this course is what? Khalid is what? Another thing. Everyone understand this? But even for the layman Muslim, or for a Muslim who's trying to be studious, I work 9 hours out the day or 10 hours out the day. I have children, I have a wife, I have bills, I have things that I have to pay, but I want to learn Arabic. I want to learn Arabic. I want to study Arabic. I want to focus on tajweed in Canada, in the United States. Is my goal. I don't want to die unless I can know how to read the Quran in its original language. I want to learn some basic conversational Arabic. I would like to learn the principles of Islamic finance for myself. I can ask a question to Sheikh Fulan and Sheikh Fulan, but I myself want to know the basic demographics of interest and mortgage and things like this. So that which comes before you in learning this, you have to remove and get out the way. That's the extra hour at the gym. That's the coffee shop. That's doing this and buying this and having this and so on and so forth. Everyone understand this? Very, very, very important. And this applies to anything else that you do in the dunya. You want to be a basketball player? Your life has to revolve in orbit, of course, after Islam, around basketball. Let alone someone who's a non-Muslim. Eat, sleep, basketball. That's it. And if you're not taking that attitude and that approach, then you'll barely get by. I would understand this. You have to be hungry. You got to be hungry, right? Moving forward. Babu dhikri rihlati fi talab al-ilm. The chapter of encouraging people to travel to seek knowledge. We've spoken on that many times. The importance and the virtue of traveling, leaving the comfort of your home to seek ilm. باب الحظ على استدامة الطلب والصبر فيه على الأواء والنصب. He says here, the encouragement to be consistent, to be perseverant, to not give up, and to deal with the pains and the suffering and the agonies, and to deal with the hardships that come with seeking knowledge. We've seen brothers come overseas. They were zealous, overzealous, and next thing you know, they were back in America 2 months later, 3 months later, a year later, 2 years later. They quit. They gave up. It was too much. It was too hard for them. I have to have this food. I have to have these clothes. I have to have this car. I have to have this house. I have to have this wife. I have to. They couldn't deal with it. It's too difficult. Let alone just the hardship of ilm, memorizing. You signed up for the College of Hadith and you dropped out. What did you think the College of Hadith was? You thought it was 40 Hadith Nawawi? Did you think that was it? Yani? Hassanahu Nawawi? You thought that was it? La, this is back-breaking hifd. Muharrar, Nail al-Awtar, Fath al-Bahri. This is real stuff. But who signed up for it? You did. This is what you signed up for. Brothers, they dropped out and they quit. Let alone the worldly problems and the worldly sacrifices. The worldly issues. Everyone understand this? Your non-Muslim grandmother calls you from back home. When are you coming home? Your family says, we miss you. Come back. Why are you in Arabia? What are you doing over there? Are you a terrorist yet? It's a reality. You come back home to visit your family in the summertime, you get harassed by the airport, by the authorities. They come knocking on your door, calling your phone. Huh? Would you like a job? We want you to work for us. And if you don't work for us, then we're going to keep harassing you and bothering you. This is reality, haqa'iq. Allah knows that we're not making this stuff up. What are you going to do? Quit or persevere? You signed up for this. Everyone understand this? Moving forward. باب جامع في الحال التي يسأل بها المعلم. He says, a comprehensive chapter regarding asking a question and speaking to your teacher when you want something from him or her regarding information. There's a way of asking questions, right? There's a what? There's a way. And it's just not how you want to do it whenever you want to do it. Some teachers don't allow questions. Some teachers don't allow open questions, only on a topic. Some people will get annoyed if you ask too many questions. Some people don't care. It depends. It depends. Some people screen and filter questions. They'll get a stack of questions and they'll look through each and all of them and they'll select those they feel comfortable with. It depends on the person. It says, باب كيفية الرتبة في أخذ العلم. How to progressively seek knowledge systematically. A book here, a fatwa there, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, Albani, Ibn Taymiyyah, and it's not like that. In order and steps, book, matan, sharh, level, steps, systematic process of seeking knowledge. It says, باب ذكر ما روي عن لقمان الحكيم من وصية ابنه. Regarding the story of Luqman the wise and the advice that he gave his son regarding these things. باب آفة العلم وغائلته وإضاعته وكراهية وضعه عند من ليس بأهله. He says, the cancer of knowledge, the thing which destroys knowledge, which fizzes out knowledge, and that is giving the knowledge for dunya. Selling the ilm for dunya. Everyone understand this? Putting the knowledge in the people or with the people who don't deserve that knowledge. For worldly praise, for worldly acclaim, for worldly possessions, or teaching someone who isn't worthy. Giving the ilm for someone that's not going to appreciate it. This is a gem. Why should I hand it to someone that's going to maybe drop it on the floor? Or you teach someone and say, oh, but I read this, Sheikh Bin Baz said this, or Sheikh Albani, he said this sahih, so what are you saying? They don't understand what you gave them. And they can't understand what you gave them if they wanted to. If they what? If they wanted to. So you're wasting your time. You keep the gems and the jewels for people who are deserving thereof. You don't speak about technical things in front of general people unnecessarily. Everyone understand this? You give the special information to the tulabul ilm and to the people who are of a certain rank and a certain worth. Babu haybatil muta'allim lil alim. How you should respect and venerate your teacher. How should you respect and venerate your teacher? Whatever your teacher may be or whoever your teacher is. Younger than you, older than you, man, woman, highborn, lowborn, sharif, wadi', whatever the case is, if this person is your instructor, you're supposed to venerate them. And obviously the veneration of the teacher is manifested in many ways. How you speak, how you talk, how you sit, many brothers. So what does the brother do? UBK, he laid down on the front row of the lecture, literally, laid down. Not just put his feet straight, he was laying down like he was about to take a nap in the masjid on the front row of the lecture. Am I making this up? Huh? This is unfortunate. Okay, so we have to be mindful of all of these different things. Babun في ابتداء العالم جلساءه بالفائدة وقوله سلوني. The permissibility and the recommendation for the learned person, the teacher, the master, to throw a benefit at his students before they ask him, before he teaches them, but to give them a fa'idah. Here you go. Faddal. And also, saluni, ask me. You have a question? Ask. Anyone have any questions? Many people, they say this is not, they say min as-sunnah. You can't do this. Or if you ask someone to ask you a question, you're automatically أجهل الناس بالفتوى أجرهم عليها من سار إلى الفتوى. And this, he says what? Saluni, ask me. There's a time in which you can ask someone to ask. There's a time in which you should run from being asked, no doubt. There's a time in which you defer to someone else. And there's also a time in which that can be cowardly. That can be cowardly, in which you want to break your brother's back, but not your back. I should have that. Is that the Prophet ﷺ's speech? Did he say that? Huh? Did the Prophet say that? That he would give it to this one and that 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 one until we will return to the first one. هذا كلام مرفوع أنت ليس مرفوعا. It's not marfu'. And if it was marfu', then it would be a what? A proper fahm. It would be am and it would be khas and it would be mujmal, mubayyan and makhsus, etc. Huh? Khairin inshallah. Password? That's what I thought it was. طيب. Ask Sheikh Hassan to be kind enough to give us the password. Sorry guys, but they lost my laptop, so we gotta deal with this. سمعت عن الكتاب عون المعبود في الكشف عن الجهاز المفقود. طيب اقرأ. طيب جزاك الله خير. تفضل. باب منازل العلماء, the levels of the scholars, the levels of the learned people. That the people of knowledge are not on one level. They're different levels. And give everyone their due respect. طيب. Similar to the chapter before last, not giving the julasat, the people sitting with him a fa'idah, but giving them a question, testing them out, a mas'ala. What is the ruling on this? خالد إيش عندك في مسألة كذا؟ إيش حفظت في مسألة كذا؟ إيش قولك في كذا? You understand this? What do you say about this? Not to break their backs or to play someone or to show someone up, but to get them to what? Think and to be strong and to be sharp. Huh? فضل. A young person, someone who isn't that old, to speak and to give knowledge and to answer a question in front of someone who's older. I.e. that it's not just absolutely what? Yay or nay. You understand this? And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a means of disrespect, depending on the circumstance and the situation. Fadl. Spreading knowledge. Bab Jaami'. A comprehensive discussion of spreading knowledge and the importance of spreading knowledge and not to be stingy with your ilm. And there are many manifestations of being stingy with knowledge. And there are many tricks of shaitan with regards to getting people to be stingy with knowledge. He tricks them and they make excuses, this, that, kada, fulan, I can't. At the end of the day, هو البخل بالعلم. At the end of the day, no matter what you put on it, you're being stingy with your knowledge. Another comprehensive chapter regarding the etiquette of the learner and the learned, the master and the pupil, how they are both supposed to behave. The etiquettes in which they both share, such as al-ikhlas, sincerity. And then there's an etiquette which is only for the learner. The alim doesn't have to do this. And there's an etiquette only for the alim in which the learner doesn't have to do. Three categories. Faslun fil insafi fil ilm, to be just, to be impartial. Only Allah knows the problem that we have with this today, People aren't fair. We are the only ones who have knowledge. People who studied in my country, nobody else. Or this race. Only if you, where are you from? Such and such? Oh, you have ilm. If not, you really don't have knowledge. Where'd you study? You studied in Medina? It's not serious. In Medina, you studied in Kulliyat al-Dawah, Kulliyat al-Sharia? Oh, you're what? Laysu, لا, not even that, قالت اليهود, Allah says what? وقالت ليست اليهود وهم يتلون الكتاب. And they both know that this is a kitab, and that's what? Being a bigot. Only Shafi'i is the true fiqh. Only Kulliyat al-Hadith is the true knowledge. No other knowledge except for Kulliyat al-Insaf. Be just. Be just, ya akhi. Don't be a wrongdoer. Don't be a bigot. Don't be a fanatic. طيب. Similar to the previous chapter, little translation, يتحلى, finery, jewelry, how you're supposed to shine. Your character, your behavior as a learning person is supposed to make you shine. Just listen to those words. Yatahalla. Huli. It's supposed to be like gold and silver, diamonds. Your beautiful patience upon someone. The ignorance of someone. Have sabr, hilm, forbearance, tolerance. Someone that's not fulfilling your status and your rights. Be patient with them. You don't always have to strike back. You don't always have to say something negative back. You understand? It's being patient upon a student who has a full cup. Or a student may have bad etiquette, poor manners. Yatahalla. It makes you shine when you have beautiful character. And it lies no doubt, someone who's implementing the sunnah and trying his best or trying her best, they stick out and they shine, even to non-Muslims. Non-Muslims, they notice your behavior. They notice how you are, how kind you are, how respectful you are, how neat you are, how nicely dressed you are, Maybe in the aquarium. Fadl. He says, Faslun fi mukhatabati an-nasi ala qadri uqulihim. Speaking to the people in a language that they understand. And never putting the people on a level that is beyond their level. Giving them something which is too hard and too much and too difficult for them to understand. Very important point with regards to wisdom. Fadl. Simat. More etiquette, more character. Go, move forward. He said what? Fi fadl samti? Not talking too much. Avoiding unnecessary speech and excessive speech. What is the rule on raising your voice in the masjid? Is it permissible to raise your voice in the masjid? Or is the masjid only for prayer and for Jumu'ah? And ta'lim and wa'adh, it has to be in another location. This is an issue. Read the speech of Imam Malik regarding this. Can you raise your voice in the masjid? Can we have lectures in the masjid? Tayyib. Humility. Avoiding conceit. Being humble. And seeking authority in positions. Seeking status. Fadal. Tayyib. Do not act like you know something. If you don't know, say you don't know. I'm sorry, that's not my field. I'll get back with you. I'll research it. I'll double check. I'm not that skilled. Someone else is better than me that can answer that question. And if there is something that you do know, and you are strong in, never be boastful. Never be boastful. Humility. Humble yourself, Never boasting your skills, right? Unless there is a necessity. Unless you have to. Unless you what? Unless you have to. Such as, will be an instance in which you have to boast or say that you know something or that you're the most knowledgeable person. قال جعلني على خزائن الأرض إني طيب. What's an example of this? Such as what? Hishan. When you have to boast, so you should boast. This is a specific reason why you would do this. If someone else is going to mess it up. If there's an ignorant person who doesn't know that he's ignorant, and he's about to step forward and start talking to the news about Islam or terrorism. No, step aside. I'm the imam. Thank you. I'm the resident scholar here. Interview me. This person is going to get on the news and he's going to start, messing everything up. He doesn't understand Islam at all. He doesn't understand terrorism, let alone Islam and terrorism. He's going to make a bad name for the Muslims. So you may be walking up to the cameras and they're saying, we're at your mosque and we want to interview someone about the local terrorist attacks and what is the stance and what is your official statement? And he starts talking, well, we as Muslims, we believe, thank you very much. I'm the imam of the masjid. How can I help you? You understand this? You may have to. Or they say, who's the most learned person about Islam here? Who can I talk to? I have a question. You may have to say what? وهكذا. Or it may be a thing which you may have to get people to take from you and benefit from you. Listen, guys, I was overseas. I did this. I've been there. I've done that. Just listen to me. Take it from me. Listen to me, Khalid. I'm telling you off of experience. You may have to say this for the young people to what? To realize. Or you may have someone who's doubting you. You may have someone who's a what? They call him a what? A heckler, right? Or heckler, right? At your show. He doesn't know anything. He's just talking. He's reading from a paper. And you may have to what? Close the iPad and what? Haddathana wa akhbarana. Say what? Know your place. Everyone understand this? Very important. He says, Babu ma ruya fi qabd al-ilmi wa dhahab al-ulama. Knowledge being removed and the scholars and the learned people dying off. In other words, ignorant people taking positions that they don't have no business taking. And people who have no knowledge speaking and explaining, they have no knowledge, no place doing that. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Fadda. When the knowledge is held by sinful people, evildoers, aradil, laysa al-ardal, aradil, aradiluna badi al-ra'i. Always sink it, huh? La ya akhi, don't. فأكثرت جدالنا. You've argued with us in what? طيب, al-aradil, طيب. When knowledge is basically among sinful people and scum. Aradil, that's the translation of someone who's radil. Scum. He's low, he's a base person. He doesn't come from a good background. He has no good history. He's a low person, a base person. His character, what he does, everything, nothing about him is noble. Everyone understand this? And that is an excuse for people to not listen to him. He may be speaking the truth. He may be saying wisdom. But they're going to say, look at him. Look where he comes from. Look what he looks like. Look how he's dressed. Look at his character. So they're not going to listen to him. And that's why the messengers, وَكَذَلِكَ الرُّسُلُ تُبْعَثُ Heraclius, he said that the messengers are sent what? From the best of their lineage. To cut down one excuse from people who already don't want to listen to the messengers. Moving forward. And this also goes to show that someone could have knowledge and be a sinner. And someone could have knowledge and be an evildoer. It's not impossible. It's not what? It's not impossible. Someone could be wrong. And just because a person is a alim or talib ilm, it does not mean that they're not evil. It does not mean that they're what? Abadan. Does not mean that. Someone could be evil with knowledge. Waliyadhu billah. May Allah protect us from that. Tayyib. How the Prophet ﷺ sought Allah's refuge from knowledge which is of no benefit. Knowledge which doesn't help. And asking Allah for knowledge which is a means of benefit. That's a long discussion. Babu dhammil alim. The ruler who is an oppressor, who's a tyrant, you're not to visit. You're not to enter upon him. The scholar is not supposed to brush shoulders and sit and drink and eat and take gifts and be in the company of this tyrant. Unless he's going to advise him and tell him to fear Allah and tell him, ittaqillah, it's haram what you're doing to the Muslims and to the country of the Muslims, etc. But him just going and frequenting and visiting, he said, madhmoom. And this also goes to show us many misunderstandings today. As we said last night, right? The madhab as-salaf is not necessarily what this one and that one is doing in 2019, and they say that they're following the salaf. It's a huge difference. The madhab as-salaf is nothing more than was found in these books. The traditional, ancient information. That is what it is. What this person is doing today and what they start saying in the modern 20th and 21st century is not necessarily the orthodox way. It's not necessarily the what? The orthodox way. Moving forward. Similar, the wicked scholar. Babu dhammil fajiri min al-ulama. Someone could be learning and could be a what? It could be a fajr, waliyadhu billah. And seeking knowledge for worldly gain, to show off. Naam. Allah will ask all of the people about what they did, what they learned, how did they implement their knowledge. That's scary. That's scary. To not practice what you preach. It's very scary. Babun Jaamiun. Acting upon your knowledge as well. It's time to stop now. 8 o'clock. Inshallah, after the salat, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we'll finish Allah surely knows best. Jazakumullahu khairan.